Well, very good morning, guys. Okay. Okay. So last day we just been talking how to use stored procedures and perform the CRUD operations. So someone was asking this question in the end of the session yesterday. So which one is better, using a stored procedure or writing the code in the link? Depends here whether you should go for using a stored procedure and perform in the industry, or whether we just perform the operations in the first way. Means that depends. Say my database is existing and I'm building it. My database is already existing and there are so many predefined stored procedures in my database. Now I am building a new application using link. I'm building a new application using link. So all the procedures are ready. So then they directly go for using stored procedure calls only. Again, writing the DAL code and all the waste of time. Directly they go for using stored procedures. My database is new. Everything is new. Everything is new. Nothing is available. New database, new application. Then they may follow the first option. Then they may follow the first option. So already have existing databases. When I have all the existing database and procedures, again writing the DAL code is waste of time. Correct? Last class we skipped up the DAL code. The DAL code is waste of time. Then directly what you can do, drag and drop all the stored procedures, generate the methods and write up the code. That becomes easier. I hope you got my point. Okay, so depends. We cannot decide that performance wise there is no difference. So what architecture gets followed means we can't tell that. We cannot tell that what architecture gets followed. That depends upon the developer also. The developer is good with procedures. He think of writing the procedures and perform it. The developer is not good at procedure writing, good at object-oriented programming, may choose the first option to write. So there is nothing like this is better, that is better. First point, understand. If one is better and the second one is wrong, Microsoft is not a fool to give you two options to you. Are you getting my point here? If I say procedures are better, don't write the first one. Are they fools to give that architecture for us? They're not fools to give the architecture. Na? So that's what. Depending on the requirement, we just follow different architectures there. So that's why I say each and everything. But what is followed means that depends. I cannot judge here. This only will be followed. Might be any wrong. Tomorrow you go there and what I say may not be followed there. So that's what I'm telling. That depends on the requirement. Developer, lot of parameters decide what architecture has to be used, whether to go with a procedure call or write the DAL code and perform the actions. That depends completely on the requirement. Is that clear? Okay. So today we'll focus on one thing, guys. What do you? Working with multiple tables. Working with multiple tables. So basically, the first two examples, what I shown you, we just focused on a single table. We just focused on a single table. But tomorrow, this can happen. What can happen? There can be multiple tables in your database. So when you have multiple tables in the database, how do you work with them? That is the question. Means I want to work with the two tables at a time. See, the thing is, I have two tables here, a department table, employee table. Where a department table is a parent table, and employee table is a child table. Now, I just want to work with both these two tables now. When I'm going to display the data, I want to show combination of the data now. Every employee belongs to some department. I want to show the combination of means I just want to deal with the two tables at a time. But unfortunately, what is the problem with our views, I said you this point already. The problem with the view is when you're performing a model binding with views, model binding cannot be done with multiple models. Model binding cannot be done with multiple models. A view can be bound only with one model class. I want to bind 2 or 3 model classes, not possible. One view, one model. That's a one-to-one relationship. Are you getting my point? Okay, it is one view, and one model, it is just going to be purely one-to-one relationship. So one model can have only, one model can be bound only with one view. I'm sorry, I said wrong. One view can be bound only with one model. Clearer cannot be bound with multiple models. Now, observe it, what I'm showing you. See the step-by-step process. First step, I'm going to create a table on my database first. That is a parent table with the name called as department. Watch it. Create table department, department ID, integer, primary key name is, constraint name, primary key, and also it has an identity. It also has an identity. Start from 10, increment by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 will be the values. Second column is a D name. Third column is location. Is that clear? So this is my first table and this is a parent table. I'm going to create one more table here, child table. What is my second table? Employee table. Employee ID, int, constraint, primary key. And here also have an identity starting from 1001, increment by 1. Increment by 1. Next, employee name, job, salary, and also I have the department ID column, and this ID column is having a constraint that is a foreign key constraint referring to department table, department ID column. It is a child table. And you know the last column? You know the last column. What is the last column? Status. Not null, and also it has a default value. So these are the columns what I am having here. So ID, name, job, salary, department ID, status. You have 3 columns: department ID, department name, and location. Okay, what next? I want to insert a few records into the department table. I want to insert few records into department table, and while inserting, don't forget you require to give only name and location. No need to give ID because ID is auto generation. ID is a auto generation what we have. So I want to insert some few records. So guys, watch out. These are the 4 insert statements I'm writing. So the first one will have 10, second one will have 20, third one will have 30, and fourth one will have 40. Yeah, insert it and select star from department table. Auto generation. Is this clear? Now I want to, means in an organization, by default you have departments. Now I want to develop an application for inserting records into employee table. Do you follow my point? I want to develop an application for inserting records into employee table. I just want to perform an insert of the record into the employee table. Clearer? Okay, so what should I insert in the employee table? Name, number is auto generation. Name, job, salary, department number, and don't forget the department number should be from these 4 lists only. You cannot select whatever you want. Are you clear? Department number. That's it. Status is default value. Status is the default value. Otherwise, you send also true. But no need to send employee number. Employee number will be auto generation 1001, 1002. That is what. So I want to perform this one. Using what? Link. Using link, I want to do all these actions. Okay, guys, have a look. Now I am going to build an application. New project. Giving the name MVC with link 3. We build MVC with link 1, MVC with link 2, this MVC with link 3. Our folder MVC 7. Create. Yeah, MVC project template. Create. Next step, add the OR designer. Add new item. Choose data. Link to SQL classes. Database name is MVC DB. MVC DB is the database name. Click on the add button. Next step, open the Server Explorer. Configure your database there first. Add connection. Server name is server. Authentication, SQL authentication. Username SA. Password 123. Now choose your database. What's the database? MVC DB. Okay, and click on test connection. Your test connection succeeded. Okay. What next? Go to tables here. Drag and drop 2 tables today. Last class only 1 table or 2 tables. First, parent table, department. Second, child table. Employee. And guys, these 2 tables have a relationship, right? It represents the relationships also to you here. Parent-child relationship. There is a parent-child relationship clearly present between these 2, and you can see the parent-child relationship represented with an arrow mark here. Is that clear? So this is, you see, department.employees and reverse employee.department. So refers to department table, refers to employee table. So like this, we just have the 2 tables got onto the screen now. We just saw this. And guys, remember this one. This action will automatically create you the 2 classes. What classes? Department class and employee class. Department class and the employee class are automatically created to you. Array, day before yesterday, student class. So today, department class, employee class. So department class is created, and at the same time, employee class is also created. But the big problem I said here, what is the problem? Array, you cannot bind multiple tables to your views now. Sorry, multiple models to views. So how many model classes are there? 2 model classes. But there is no chance to bind 2 model classes to a view now. Then how to resolve the problem? To resolve the problem, what to do, you know? Define a new model class. Define a new model class. And the new model class should have attributes of both the entities. The new model class should have attributes of both the entities. Did you understand my point? I am adding a new model class. Oh, just a minute here. We did not add in the models folder, just a mistake. Let me add in the models folder. Add link to SQL classes. MVC DB. No issue. Array, no issue. But generally that's a process what should follow. Or that all the models should be in the models folder. I just made a mistake there, that's all. It's not a problem, not an error, nothing. Just to follow the pattern, that's it. Yeah. Now you can see it's in the models folder and the 2 classes are generated. Now in the same models folder, let us add a new class, guys. What is the name? It's a combination of both the 2 things. So that's why I'm going to give the name as EMP DEPT. EMP DEPT is my class name. This is my model class. And remember, in this class, I'm going to define the attributes combining both the 2 now. Are you getting me or not? I'm going to define the attributes combining both the 2. Both the 2 in this sense. Employee, department also. Employee as well as department in employee, employee number, employee name, job, salary, department ID. Same way, department name, location. Combine both the 2 things now. Is the point clear, all of you? So we are going to combine both of them. Fine. Now you can have a look. Employee ID, employee name, job, salary, department ID, department name, location. Status, I already said you don't deal with status. Status will have its default value. So this is the thing. And now guys, remember, this is the class what we are going to use for model binding in the views. We are not going to use the employee class. We are not going to use the department class. What are we going to use? The EMP DEPT is the class what we are going to use for model binding. Are you clear? So this is what exactly we are going to follow right now. Okay. What next? The next thing is, listen. Now we don't have procedures now. So write the DAL class. We don't have procedures here. Write the DAL class. Just go for writing the DAL class now. Okay. So let's write the DAL class code now. So in the models folder, let me add a class. Some name I used. Let me check it out. Any name here? Okay, I given the name as employee DAL. Employee DAL. Okay. We are mainly department is a background only. That the parent, what we are dealing is only with employee. We are not going to insert into department. We are going to insert only into employee. Department is parent. To insert into employee, we need a department ID, and the department ID should come from department table. That's why both the two tables are required here. But we are not physically inserting or updating or deleting anything into department table. We are only dealing with the employee table. That's why I named it as employee DAL. Okay, now first create the data context class instance here. Create the data context. What is the data context class name? What next? Same story here. Write a method for getting all the employees. Write a method for getting all the employees. Write a method for getting a single employee. Write a method for adding an employee. Write a method for updating an employee. Write a method for deleting employee. On that day we worked with a student, and today we are working with employee. Hope it's clear. Okay. Look guys. Public list of what I'm using? EMP DEPT. EMP DEPT. Get employees. Get employees. I just think I given the name as get EMPS. No. Get employees. I given the name as get employees. Thread type is list. Thread type is list. Last class also taken a list only, but list of student. But here list of EMP DEPT. First, what I should do, recollect the code I explained you there. First, written a query, I got all the data and added them into, I created instances of the student and added them to the list. Now also did the same story. But what is the difference? On the day, you got the data only from one table, but today you need to get the data from two tables. What are the two tables? Employee table, department table. All of you learned how to write joins in SQL now. How do you write a join query to fetch data from two tables? Tell me. Select E dot employee number, E dot name, E dot job, E dot salary, E dot department ID, T dot department name, T dot location. From employee E, join department D on E dot department ID is equals to D dot department ID. This is a join query. How do you write now? This is a join query. How you are going to write? All of you in your C#, you already learned how to write queries. Link queries. Link query starts with from. Say from employee E. How do you write this? E in employees. How to write DC dot What? DC dot employees. Last class DC dot students. Today DC dot employees. So employee should be written as what? En DC dot employee. This is our table. What next? Join is join only here. Now you tell me how to write department D. Array, how did you write employee? En DC dot employee. How do you write department D? En DC dot departments. Okay, now what next? On. Next, E dot department ID equals E dot department ID. That is the pattern. Okay, one more time. Come on, try now. Concentrate on the last line. That's all. We're not talking the first line. Last line. From is from. Employee. How to write? E in DC dot employees. Our table is DC dot employees. Don't forget. Join is join only. Next, D in DC dot departments. Okay, now what next? On is on. E dot department ID equals D dot department ID. Is that clear? What next? What next? Select. Array, the next thing is select now. Okay, select. But understand a point. You want all the records or active records? All the records are active records. Why you want all records? Active records na. Why all records? You'll show all records on the application. Last day you done and today you forgot already. We are not displaying deleted records. When deleted, that record is not shown on the UI now. What we want is only active records. Where E dot status is equals to true. Where E dot status is equals to true. You'll be having a doubt here. What is the doubt? Sir, you are not fetching the status. You did not map the status in our model class. Status is not there. And I am not getting from here. I am getting for employee. Employee is a model which is implicitly created, and that model already has status in that. That I did not stop. Is that clear? Array, I did not stop anything what is created implicitly. What I created, I removed status, that's all. But status was present there. Is the point clearer? Okay. So, E dot status is equals to true. Next, select new of. Open the curly braces and list out your columns. E dot employee number. E dot employee name. Guys, the column name is not name, it is E name. E dot job. E dot salary. E dot department ID. T dot department name. T dot location. That is how you write a link query. That is how you're going to write a link query. This is your link query. So this is going to fetch the data from the two tables. This is going to fetch the data from the two tables. Okay. So fine. How to write the code is first step. Create a list of EMPDEPT, some name is equals to new list of EMPDEPT. Okay. Now for each, now write the query now. Write the query. Where employees where records, any name here, no column. Where records is equals to. Write the query. Write the query. Now guys, listen. This query is going to fetch the data from both the two tables. This query is going to fetch the data from both the two tables. Spelling mistake here. Equals column name ID. I think it is the employee ID. It's not employee number. What is the column name? Employee ID. Employee ID. Yeah, that's a mistake. Fine, guys. We are going to get it. Now, where the data is in the records. Are you clear? Now, one by one record should be added to the list. One by one record should be added to the list. How? For each where record in records. Understood what I'm doing? I'm picking one by one record now. I am picking one by one record. One by one record is going to be picked out from this. Clearer? What to do? You require to create the instance of this class. It is giving the hint to you already. See? Which class instance? EMP DEPT. EMP DEPT. Not empty object. You need to create the instance, passing on all the values. What are the attributes of EMP DEPT? First attribute, employee ID is equals to record dot employee ID. Name is equals to record dot employee name. Okay. Job is equals to, it's not name, e-name. Job is equals to record dot job. Salary is equals to record dot salary. What next? Department ID is equals to record dot department ID. Department name is equals to record dot department name. Location is equals to record dot location. Yeah, we are missing something. Int question mark to int. Yeah. Nullable and null issue, that's all. What did I do? Yeah, DID. Yeah. Not use nullable. Maybe I made the mistake in the notes. That is a no. This should be wrong. Yeah, understood the mistake. No issue. Actually, the mistake is when you're fetch from department table. Primary key constraint is it. If you visit an employee table doesn't have a primary key constraint, so it will become nullable. Fetch from department table. When you fetch from department table, that is primary key constraint, so it is not null. It is a not null. Yeah. Okay. So we created one instance. Are you clear? After creating this instance, what to do? You need to say EMPS dot add. Add what? EMP DEPT. You're adding in the list now. So once the loop runs, what will happen? One by one record will be loaded into what? Into this list. Into the list now. Finally, return EMP DEPT. Return the list back. So what are you doing? You are creating a list. List name is EMPS. You're going to create a list now. One by one record is added into the list and return. And this is the same code you written the day before yesterday in the model class. But there we dealt only with single entity, and today we are dealing with two entities. So we are written a join query and fetch the data. And once after fetching, is a return back for you in the form of this. Why we could not able to use the tool list in link query? There is no direct option to use the tool list here. There is no direct option to use the tool list here. And mainly we are fetching the data from two separate tables. We're required to just go for creating this and add it explicitly into that. Okay. So that's why we are explicitly performing this particular action. Fine, guys. So what next? Guys, you understand the query? Sir, why are we not able to use a tool list? Why you are not using a tool list? Directly you can use a tool list now. I can't use. Why? Tool list will convert into what? Into a list. List of what? Are you dealing with one entity? Tell me. Are you dealing with one entity? You're dealing with two separate entities here. You're dealing with two separate entities here. Am I clear? If you're dealing with one entity, directly you can call it tool list method. But you're dealing with two separate entities. And the model class, what you have EMPDPT is your own model class. That is not predefined model class. It is a predefined model class, then it may come. But that's not predefined, that is your defined. So tool list will not work. Is the point clear? That is the reason why explicitly I have implemented my logic. Then I use a try catch block here. Okay, done. So right now we are just able to write the code now, loop it, and in the process, one by one record is picked up, added to the list, and finally the list is returned back. What next? The next method is public, not list A, empdpt, get employee. Get employee, not get employees, get employee. Any parameter? Yes, I want a parameter. What is the parameter? Int employee ID. Int employee ID is the parameter. While defining EMPDEPT class, can we inherit department model class and only define employee related properties? Yeah, you can do that. You can do that here. But that class has a lot of content in it. That class has a lot of content in it. That's why I did not do that. There's a lot of content over there. That's why I did not do that. Okay. Now tell me what to do. Now, concentrate here. Your return type is a list or single recorder? Louder. Single record. First write a join query and fetch the data from both the two tables. But now remember, not all records, only single record. Only single record. So just watch this. This is the same query, copy. This is the same query, copy. Look, not records. Not records. Add a query where e dot status is equals to true and e dot employee ID is equals to employee ID. See guys, employee ID condition is there now. When employee ID condition is there, how many records will fetch? One. But what is the problem? I said to you last class I shown you. Even one record also will come for you in table format only. One record will come for you in a table format only. So what to do? The whole query in the brace and use this method. What method? Dot sing. Dot single. Now it is going to not fetch multiple records. What did it give you? One record. Only one record. Next step. The next step is you need to create the instance of this class again now. You need to create the instance of this class again. What is the difference between this and this? Here we are getting multiple instances, but here we will create only one instance. Only one instance. Finally what? Return EMP DPT. Now see the difference guys. What are you returning here? EMP DPT 1. What are you returning here? List of EMPDEPT here, one EMPDEPT here, list of EMPDEPT is what you're returning. Okay, so this is one method and this is one method. First we'll deal with these two here. Later on we'll build insert, update, deletes and all. But one more method I want to write. What is the method, get departments. What is that get departments? Actually, when you're going to create a view, when you're going to create a view, for employee number, no text box because auto generation. Employee name, text box. Job, text box. Salary, text box. Department ID, drop down list. Array department ID should have a drop down list, and the drop down list should load all the departments from the department table now. Did you understand my point or not? What it has to load you? All the departments from the department table. That's what exactly my requirement is. So now I need something. I need a list that can be bound with the drop down list now. Remember, I explained you already how to add values to a drop down list. Select list. We created a select list with values 1, 2, 3 for class. For one day I dealt with the class. I shown you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the classes I shown you. On that day we created a select list, and the select list is added to the drop down list. The select list is added to the drop down list. Okay. So I wanted to write one method called as get departments. And the get departments method, guys, remember the get departments method, what I'm going to write here, just watch. Public list of something is there here. Select list. Select list item, get departments. Public list, what is that? Select list item, get departments. So what is the select list item? Select list item is a class. Select list item is a class which can be added to a drop down list. Select list item is a class which can be added to a drop down list. And the select list item, guys, how do we create this select list item means? I did not explain you in the UI designing process. Just concentrate on this, all of you. You have a drop down list now. Okay. Drop down list, when you're going to work with a drop down list, you'll be adding items to the drop down list. The items that are added to a drop down list are called as select list items. The items that we add to a drop down list are called as select list items. Drop down list is a collection of select list items, or otherwise you call it like this, collection of items, and each item is an instance of class. Did you understand, guys? Read carefully. Drop down list is a collection of items, and each item is an instance of class. Which class? Select list item. Is it clear? Select list item class is associated with four or five attributes will be there here. I think it is, just a minute, let me verify. Not here, directly in IntelliSense only. Right click, go to definition. You have a question on any class, right click and simply say go to definition. That's all. Okay, four attributes. Text, value, selected, disabled. Is associated with four attributes in it. Four attributes in it. What is the first one? Text. Second one, value. Third one, disabled. Fourth one, selected. Selected are selected. Listen, what is text? What is value? What is disabled? What is selected? Now, tell me, when you're going to insert a record in the employee table, do you want to get the list of departments there? Tell me, yaar, you want to get the list of departments. You want to see the department names while inserting or the department IDs while inserting. You want to see names or IDs. Name, yeah. Understand English first. What I asked you, what do you want to see? End user will understand ID, yeah. It'll show 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Will end user understand that? Think like an end user first. Will end user understand what is 10? You tell me what is 10. You only insert now. What is 10? Tell me. Tell me. What is 20? What is 30? What is 40? Which department? You only don't know. How do you expect the end user to know what is 10, 20, 30, 40? What you expect the end user? Name. Name is what has to be shown there. Are you clear? Text refers to that only. Text refers to what is shown. Then what is this value? Now listen to the question carefully. What should be inserted into the employee table? Name or idea? Louder. ID. Why? The column doesn't contain name at all. The column contains ID. So understand the problem here. What you want to show? Name. What you want to insert? ID. So that's why the control is designed in such a beautiful way. What is present in the text will be shown to user. What is present in value will be inserted to the table. So what you do here, to this text, bind your department name. To this value, bind your department ID. Are you clearer or not? So what is disabled? What is disabled and selected? First, let us say selected. I have 10 items in this. I have 10 items. By default, first item is visible to you. By default, first item is visible. No, sir. Fifth item should be visible. By default, the selected is false. For which list item you make this true, that item will be the default selection. Array, you want 10 items in the drop-down list. So you require to create 10 instances of this class now. Got it, huh? Array, understand your item, where each item is an instance. Which class? Select list item. Now you require to create 10 items, means 10 instances should be created. By default, all the selected properties false. Default value is false. Understood? So what it will show? By default, will be showing the first item. No, I want the fifth item should be the default value. Then when you are creating now for the fifth instance, make this property true. If you make this property true, that will be default selection. That will be the default selection. Okay, now? Then what is disabled? I have 10 items here. Unfortunately, in this, 2 items should not be displayed now. 2 items should not be displayed now for some reason. These departments are not in working, or suppose it is a product list, these products are out of date, out of stock, something. This disabled property by default value is true. Means true indicates show. If you make it false, they are not shown in the list. If you make it false, they are not shown in the list. And remember here, this has a default value. What is the default value? False. This has a default value. What is the default value? True. If you want, change them. Otherwise, ignore them. So what is important for us? Text and value. Are you clearer? So what to do now? What you are going to do now? Okay, observe guys what I am doing. I have written get departments method. Select list. Now, look at this. For each var dpt in dc dot departments. Did you understand the query? Array, what is dc dot departments? Yeah, dc dot departments is a table. Yes or not? For each department in the table now. Array, each record from the table. You are picking one by one row from the table now. Okay. Now create the instance of this class now. Which class? Select list item class. And guys, remember select list item class. And when you are creating the select list item, two values have default. What you're required to pass is only the remaining two. What is it? Text. What should be the text? Department dot dname, comma, value is equals to department dot did. Did you understand? Sir, what about the remaining two attributes? The remaining two attributes, ignore them. The remaining two attributes, ignore them. Why? They have default value. But see guys, you're getting error here. Why sir? Watch. Text. Text is which type? Department name is also string type only. Value is which type? But department ID is not string type na. Dot toast. Dot toasting. Is that clear? When you're getting an error, first identify that only. Put your mouse, read carefully. It will give you an idea. What is the problem? No one is a genius here. Even I also, if I get an error, I do the same thing only. Put my mouse there. What is the error? Read it. Then resolve it. That should be the habit. That should be the habit. Now see, you are creating select list instances now. Yes or not? Add them to a list. Add them to a list. So yeah, first I'm going to create a list, guys. First I'm going to create a list. What are the list names? See? List of which type? Name. DEPTS is equals to new list. Now in the for each loop, what I'll do? I will add one dot add item. One item I'm adding to the list now. Finally, return DEPTS. Nothing here. This get departments method, get employee method are same only, you know. But here, what is the type you used? This is predefined class. Here, user defined class. Are you getting my point or not? So here, the select list item, what we used is a predefined class. This is a predefined class, but this one is a user defined class. But both are returning list only. In both, you've done the same thing only, created instances and added to the list. Here also, you've done the same thing only, see? Created instances and added to the list. Both places, the code is very, very same, but the type varied, that's all. Here, a user defined type is used. Here, a predefined type is used. Okay, now? Fine. These are the three methods what I have. Fine, we need to write another three methods here. We'll write them. Let us not complicate initially. First, let us design the views. Let's go for designing the views. Come on, let me add a controller. What is the name? EMP controller. Let me see what name I have used. No issue. I just am following what is in the document. That's all. What is the name? Employee controller. Employee controller. Click on the add button. Now just look at this code, all of you. Look at this one. My first method. View result. Get employees. My first method is get employees. Import the model namespace using MVC with link 3 dot models. Import the model namespace. After importing the model namespace, create the instance of the DAL class. Not the context class. It is DAL class. DAL class will create the instance of context class. Yesterday, what did we do, you know? No DAL class. Directly context class instance we created. But here we are going to create only DAL class instance. DAL class is internally creating the context class instance for you. So let's create the DAL class instance. Employee DAL. Some name. OBJ is equals to new employed created. Okay. Now just concentrate. Where EMPS is equals to obj dot call the method. What is the method? Get employees. Next, what you will do? Return view. Return view. What are you passing? EMPS. And don't forget, EMPS is which type? List of EMP DEPT, not list of employee. It is list of EMP DEPT. It's a list of EMP DEPT. Am I clearer, guys? It's a list of EMP DEPT. Come on, right click on this, add view. And here, when you're going to choose, see all of you, you have employee in the list, you have departments in the list, yes or not, and also you have EMP DEPT also in the list. So don't select employee. If you select employee, we can get values only from employee. If you select department, you can get values only from department. If you select EMP DEPT, you can get values from EMP as well as department also now. So choose this and click on the add button. Okay, but here single record or multiple records are? Multiple records. So change this to what? I enumerable. Sorry guys, I enumerable. Change to I enumerable. Okay, what next? Array, start your designing now. Start your designing process. The way you design the views is always same. Again and again I'm telling you that is the same design again what I'm going to follow. First, I'm using a H2. Employee details. Next, table. Next, header row. Look at this, guys. Header row. ID, big, job, salary, department ID, department name, location. In the last, the actions button to show the three options. What three? View, edit, delete. View, edit and delete options to show. Point clear? Okay, I'm just going to get up all the things. What next? Now, a for each loop, looping all the items. Now also the code is same, only check it out. Nothing difference. And because we are just going to pick it from where? From the EMP DEPT, you will get access to all of them now. Are you clear? Sir, you said employee, nothing here. I given the name as employee here. That is my object name. Object name can be anything there. You can write your name as object name there, no problem. But don't focus on that. Just concentrate. Which type are you finding? EMPDPD. So now this employee is a which type? Put your mouse and say EMPDPD. There is a name I use it there. That's my choice. Don't bother about that. So now you're getting all these things and see display employee. What are we passing? ID. Edit employee. What are we passing? ID. Delete employee. What are we passing? ID. And for delete, there's a confirmation code. What's it? Are you sure of deleting the record? Are you sure of deleting the record? Right now, do we have any records in the table? Yeah, department, but not in employee. Not in employee. We have records, not in employee. We have in the departments table. So because we don't have any records that are present in the employee table, when I run this, I won't get any output. Any output in the sense blank table will come. Yesterday also, last class also, recollect yourself. First blank table came. Afterwards you click on add. And after you click on add, then only you just got up. If you want to see a sample, like how it comes, just insert some few records in the employee table. Insert some few records in the employee table. I missed one thing. What I missed? Insert. I missed that add in the last add new employee. I missed it. Okay. The last we add that link in a add new employee link that I missed up. Is that clear? If you start inserting the records, you'll get it. Now, when you click on add new employee, what should happen? A view should launch. What are the things you're expecting? Tell me. Employee name. ID is auto generation. Name. Job. Salary. And a drop down listing you departments. And a drop down listing you all the departments. Are you clear? Okay. Now guys, have a look. Let me come to the controller. We'll write get employee later because we don't have anything to see now. Public HTTP get public view result add employee. Add employee. Okay, now add employee. What do you say? Return view. See, last class I explained you. When you call add employee, for add employee, we want a blank view. What we want? Blank view. Because we want a blank view, we don't require to pass any model here. But when you come to edit employee, you want a blank view or view with data. View with data. Because we want a view with data, what you require to do? Because you want a view with data, what you require to do? You just require to pass the model object. You need to pass the model object. Now tell me, do you want a blank view or not? Louder. Wrong. Why, sir? I'll get a blank view, then what about drop down list? We have a drop down list, remember that. Yes or not? We have a drop down list and the drop down list has to fill on the values now. Do you agree with me or not? The drop down list has to fill out the values. The values should be coming up into the drop down list. What values? All the departments should come into the drop down list now. Are you clear? Okay, but your model, concentrate. It's very tricky. The model contains what? Employee ID, employee name, job, salary, department ID, department name, location. But all these are scalar, one value only. But the drop down list wants one value, all departments are. Louder. All departments, correct? But the model doesn't provide me any option to get all the departments now. To resolve this particular problem, let me go to the EMP-DEPT, concentrate. Let me go to the EMP-DEPT. I am adding a new property, public list of what? Departments. Public, what is that? List of departments. Are you getting me? Yes or not? I want to bind it to my drop down. Now you'll have a doubt. Sir, drop down, what do you bind? What do you bind to a drop down? List items, na? Hey, just 10 minutes back I explained you. What do you bind to a drop down? List items. It is not going to be department. What do you bind to the drop down? What do you bind is a list items. We are just going to bind the list items to the drop down. Correct? So that's why don't take department. Take what? Select list item. What you're taking? Select list item, public list of select list item, because just now I explained you. What you find to drop down list? Select list item. So that's what you're taking? List of select list item. Okay? All of you, concentrate on this carefully. When you come to the controller, now tell me, do I need to launch a blank view? No, the view should get the data. The view should get the data. So create the instance of your class EMP-DEPT. EMP is equals to new EMP-DEPT. Now all of you answer my question. Is this object empty or not now? Tell me, is this object empty or not? Put a mouse here, run the get employees view and hit the button, come to the and debug and see what happens. When I click, you're coming here, the instance is creating. When you create the instance, look guys, this EMP is created, but all are empty. Even the department's property is also null. Then what will I find to drop down list now? Did you catch my point or not? So what I'm doing, in the next line, what I'm doing is emp dot departments is equals to obj dot. You have written a method, remember? Ray, you have written a method. What is the method name? Get departments. And this get departments, all of you concentrate. What is it? It's a list of select list item, correct? And what is this property type? That is also the list of select list item only. That is also a list of select list item. But a small problem here. The problem is it is taking a class from which namespace? System.web.webpages.html. Are you clear? But here, the DAL class, just this class is from which namespace? Louder here. System.web. Both these two are not matching, see? Both these two are not matching. That's why when you load it here, it's a red line error. What is the error? Cannot convert system.web.mvc.selectlist to system.web.webpages.html. So what to do? Nothing here. Input that namespace, that's all. Which namespace? Or otherwise, system.web.mvc is imported. It's imported already. What did I do? There I just implicitly specified that here imported. Yeah, here also imported. Namespace issue. What did I do? Here system.web.mvc imported. Here I need to prefix it explicitly, I think. That's all. I think I have done. Is it newly added? Okay, just a minute. Problem should be fixed in the model class. In the model class, actually in the model class, when I use list, what is it taking? Clear, huh? In the model class, import system.web.mvc. So now conflict is coming. Okay, no issue. When you are naming conflict, we know how to resolve it. When there is a naming conflict, how do you resolve it? Prefixing the namespace. Just prefix the namespace. Maybe this is a new enhancement. I remember that's where in my code, I did not use that. My code, I did not use that. It's basically a new enhancement. No. It is already importing here system.web. Okay. I understood the problem. It is by default importing of that namespace here. That's the error. It is by default importing of that namespace. That's why I got the error. Okay. What namespace I should import? System.web.mvc. No need anything here. Just, I did not notice that. By default, it is importing of that. Okay. Now you guys observe it. Now when I create this instance, this departments will have values or not? Tell me. Yes, why? You are calling this method and filling it. Watch it. What's the view again? Debug. When you click on this, look, concentrate guys. First, this EMP-DPD is created. Initially, this is null. All are null, see? Correct? But now, all are null, but departments have the value. What? It has all the values. It has all the values. See here? Disabled false. Oh. Okay. Disabled also false. Disabled true means that won't be visible. Now, earlier it used to be enabled, but now the property name is disabled. Disabled false is right. Disabled false means show. Disabled true means don't show. Again, selected false. Selected true means default selection. And see here, you have the text, you have the values. Are you clear? How to see that, sir? How did you, so how are you seeing that, sir? How are you seeing it is nothing here. When you generally put a mouse here, when you generally put a mouse here, anytime, you have, all of you carefully observe. When you expand and see here, if it shows you a view option like this, it will show you a view option like this. When you click on the view option, then it opens a window and shows you the item list for you. Clearer? A view option will come. When you click on that, it will show you the information to you in a detailed way. Like this, it will show you the visualizer. It will open your visualizer and the visualizer will show you. Okay, guys. Now tell me, can I pass this EMP to the view now? Now tell me, are you passing a blank view or are you passing a view? Are you passing a blank model or a model with data? But not all values. You're only passing? You're passing the model there, but not all values. You're only passing what? You're only passing few things. What information? Only departments, nothing more than that. Only departments, nothing more than that. Okay? Let's now create a view for this. Right click, add employee, add view. Empty. Model is EMP-DPD. Now start the designing. Same designing, guys. Insert view is again same. Add new employee. Next. Do we have any images now? Do I have any images now? No, nah. That's why I did not take. As the last class I used this. Remember what is that? Multi-part form value, multi-part form data. I just shown you that option to you, but now not required. First, what do you want? Text box for name. ID not required. Text box for name. Okay. Let me where is the text box for name? Concentrate. Text box for name. Next. Text box for job. Text box for job. Text box for job. What next? Salary. Text box for salary. What next? Louder. Department name. Text box or drop down list. You want a drop down list, correct? You just want a drop down list now. So careful, observe. I have a label first. I have a label first. What next? Drop down list has to come. Guys, at the rate HTML dot, HTML dot, drop down list. At the rate HTML dot, drop down list for, drop down list for. Now, E lambda expression, E dot, what should I bind here? DID. What should I bind here? DID, comma. Now here you are required to tell now from where the data has to be loaded. From where the data has to be loaded. All of you guys observe it. What is it asking for? A list of select list item here. IEnumerable means read it list only. IEnumerable is the parent. A list of select list items. Are you clearer or not? Okay. So where the values are, all the values are in the model under one property called the departments. Do you remember? Yes or not? Model dot departments. Model dot departments. Okay. Comma. One more parameter is there here. Object HTML attributes. Object HTML attributes. That's all. Object HTML attributes. No. Third parameter. What is the third parameter say? Optional label. What is the optional label? Do you want to show anything by default? Do you want to show anything by default? Yes. The drop down list should, by default, what will come? First department will come. You want to show first department? What do you want to show? Something like select department. Array, I want to show something like, you can use that optional label here. Select department. So what will come default value now? Select department. Did you understand? Model binding is done with what? Key ID property. But loading data should be done from departments property. Default value, select DEPT. Anything else? Finished now? Name, job, salary, department. That's all. Afterwards, 2 buttons for insert. Okay. That code is again same. Have a look. Using a div and placing one save button and a reset button. Come on. Get employees. Concentrate, guys. Working with multiple tables is not such easy, like it is complicated because we are loading from 2 tables. We should be very careful in working with multiple tables. It's not as simple and easy. Add new employee. Guys, concentrate. You got your drop down. Are you clear? You got your drop down with all the values. But when I select now, what is it taken out, It is going to pick out the ID, not the name. How, sir? How? Because in the view model binding, you guys notice in the view model binding, what you bound here is not name. What you bound here is ID. You select a name, it will take the ID. What is going to be understandable to user? Name. But what should be loaded into the database? What should be loaded in the database? ID. That's why one value for user, one for What is the value for user? Text. What is the value for database? Value only. The value for database is value only. But the value for user is text. Are you clear? Now, when I enter these values and click on this, all the values will go to the view now. And from there, to the action method. From there, you need to insert into the database. Are you clear? We'll finish this in the next session, guys. We'll finish this in the next session. So till now, I created one view for all the departments and one view for adding an employee. Is that clear? Now I'll fill up all the values, click on the save, should save the data to database. That's our next action. Okay, we'll do it in the next session. Let's stop here.